Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sports Entertainment Weekly. We have a shorter um, crowd in the studio today because both VS and Candalf are tending to personal issues. I think VS is just hiding from the latest Chelsea result that left his blood boiling. But anyway, so it's gonna be just the two of us, Dave. How are you feeling?
Good. We have. It's been a good week for sports. Right after the international break, a lot of sports has picked up. Cricket was already going on, but as we are reaching later stages of the league, I feel like the competition is heating up. And now there's football once every three days because of all the international breaks. So we are getting a lot of football. We are getting a lot of cricket, and WWE is something that is weekly. So suddenly, with like last 2 weeks, we did not have a lot of sports. Now we have a lot of sports to talk about.
Yeah, cool. Then let's get to it. As usual, we'll do cricket, football, followed by a little bit of pro wrestling. Last week in cricket. Okay, quick look at the points table, Dave, as things stand. I think one of the major fixtures since we connected last time was India versus New Zealand. And South Africa versus Pakistan gave us our first real thriller of the Men's World Cup 2023. Am I seeing this right? South Africa actually leapfrogged India in the table.
Yes, they have played a game more, but regardless, apart from that major slip up against Netherlands, they have
Hmm.
been excellent. Their bowling has been excellent. The batting has been spectacular.
Yeah.
Could it be the pitches? Because they did play a couple of games at Wankhede, but without that, I think they have been excellent so far. Also a team that we no none of us I think gave a lot of credit in terms of their capability to reach the knockout phases and or win the tournament.
Yeah,
But
let's
they're
be
showing
honest. We
themselves to be.
imagined England and South Africa to be in the reverse positions when we did our predictions.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that they're top of the table is humongous amounts of credit to them.
True. So as we speak, well, let me just quickly show some of the results that we have been discussing about. Of course, as you see there, you have South Africa absolutely butchering England in a
Yeah.
one-sided contest, and Sri Lanka going on to do the same, which was quite the shock, honestly. Right?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is actually England doing so badly in the tournament, right? At the defending champions coming in with good form, but somehow their batting hasn't clicked at all. And in both the games, you can see like the batting of England failing to produce the numbers they used to consistently produce.
The irony is rich there, man. England's batting being their Achilles heel is something that
Yeah.
none of us saw coming. And I don't know if you checked out Josh Butler's post-match interview. I think it was, yeah, I think it must have been after the Sri Lanka game where they pretty much uh, he he considered, right, like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know why we are like this, we are really not able to put a finger on it. That pretty much sums up the mood in the English camp.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly, it's quite baffling, right? Like, they have a squad that should be clicking, firing on all cylinders. My only theory is karma, right? I felt like that was the only word that he left out in that post-match
Uh,
presentation. Like, you had like what, literally billions of people. I'm pretty sure, like, despite the result against New Zealand, most of Indians would have wanted New Zealand to win the World Cup.
Yes.
Let's face it, nobody in the cricketing world likes England except Barmy Army themselves. So when you have like the entire world and their manifesting some kind of justice to how New
Yeah.
Zealand last time out. I don't know. There is no other explanation other than that getting played out, man.
There's also, I'll just touch on this. I think their batting is weaker from the last tournament. They don't have an Ian Morgan, for example, in the middle order. So they're essentially relying on players like Harry Brook and Liam Livingston, who are essentially more of T20 batsmen than they are so far like ODI specialists. So, and considering in the last World Cup, they had this trio of Butler, Bairstow, and Ben Stokes who would go on and score almost every game. And settle their batting. Jason Roy was also there, so they would settle their batting and have and score big. So those three talismanic players in their wonder lineup aren't firing either. So they're reliant on their middle order, which is currently made up of Livingston and Brook. So yeah, so that weakens the batting lineup in that sense.
That's true. Ian Morgan is particularly someone who's that colossal presence, especially when the chips are down, right? You don't like guys like him or even Kane Williamson to an extent, like their stock goes up a lot more when your team is on the back foot, right? And this is a tournament where England would have desperately, you know, wanted somebody like Morgan, but like you mentioned, Harry Brook and Livingstone, they're all just built for T20 and even the 100, right? And
Yeah.
they simply did not have the steam to compete in a 50-over World Cup. I'm not gonna pretend like we all saw this coming, but that's just
Yeah,
retro.
after the tournament has played out and we are seeing their batting performances, this is the most obvious, I think, the
Yeah.
most obvious inference we can come up with. We have a match against England. I think India versus England is happening
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll get even closer look at England's batting lineup, but I don't expect them to do very well against this Indian bowling lineup in that
Yeah, I
sense.
think the only other team that I'll give this English side a chance is Australia, right? So just like how Australia has a knack of showing up against New Zealand, England has that against Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
So fingers crossed there. That brings us to actually the next game, the one that's going on right now, and I
Must be a very
cannot.
happy man.
Yeah, I am. Like I threw on like this is the usual ritual, like throwing on an Australia shirt or a Barca shirt
Yeah.
when one of the teams is playing, but it doesn't always go in your way. For example, last time when I wore this, it was Australia versus South Africa, and I had to show up to work. So you can imagine how that was like. But this time around, the fortunes have been fantastic, and we really need to talk about one man that I've been calling out, one man that we all Australian fans have been desperate to see back in the lineup. That is Travis
Head.
Head. Um, I can
Amazing,
keep,
amazing player, isn't it? Isn't
yeah.
he?
So, I think last time we touched on this, right? How Head gives that stability in the middle order that Australia is lacking, which they sort of desperately needed since Mitch Marsh and Warner were opening. Head would have started in at 5. So I was little surprised to see Head actually open. That is despite his terrific record. So I think for
Yeah.
any ODI player with a opener with a minimum of 1,000 runs, um, Travis Head has the highest strike rate, if I'm not mistaken. We are talking more than the likes of Virender Sehwag in
Mm.
his prime. So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that Head was able to open the batting and he repaid the faith big time. Dave, here
I
I have a question for you. So, going
Huh.
into the tournament, Australia knew that they were gonna miss head for the first 5 games, right? He was just coming on the back of the injury against the South Africans in the series they played right before this, and they still trusted. They realized that there was nobody better than him to do the job that he does, and they were okay with him, missing out the first 5 games, if it means him being available for the business end of the tournament.
Hmm.
And I think right now it's safe to say they made the absolutely right call. Uh, One of the giant table toppers in New Zealand. He showed up, and barring a miracle, New Zealand literally requires like the highest successful chase ever in a World Cup to win this. So I'm gonna say that Australia is clinching this one thanks to head. My question to you here is, how do you feel about Akshar Patel not being included in the similar situation?
I think, see, it's very simple. I don't think you can compare someone like Travis Head to Akshar Patel in that sense, because Travis Head has been the most consistent, most informed Australian batsman in the past 1 year. I would say he performed in multiple tournaments, multiple bilateral series, and coming into the tournament, he was their most prolific batsman across all formats. So they Australia did the most logical thing possible. I would say they waited for him to get fit completely. Then they realized that they're in trouble in terms of the league, so they put him into the 11, and they made one of their best players open with David Warner, who has just come back to form, and made that their best player play the most number of balls, right, possible. So he opened the innings and he repaid the faith. In terms of Akshar Patel, even though Akshar Patel is an excellent player, uh, you have a problem if you are including Akshar Patel. You have a problem in the lower middle order in that sense, because who are you dropping? Are you dropping Hardik Pandya, or are you dropping Ravindra Jadeja? If
No, I
Hardik
think
Pandya is not playing,
yeah.
right? If Hardik Pandya is not playing because of his injury, I would actually prefer to have uh, uh, have an extra batsman there like Surya Kumar Yadav,
Right,
because
exactly, right. So I think this is
I think Indian bowling lineup is good enough to get the 10 wickets.
yeah.
Indian lower middle order requires work
Hmm.
because they haven't been tested yet. So I would do what they actually did the last game, put in Surya Kumar Yadav and see
Right. So
how it goes.
I think I would slightly disagree with your point, which you anyway clarified later. Is I don't think Aksar was ever gonna come in place of a Hardik Pandya or a Jadeja, right? So it was always
Yeah.
between Aksar and Surya Kumar, and Surya simply hasn't shown that he warrants a place in India's ODI setup the entire time from his debut. On the other hand, Aksar could single-handedly and has single-handedly won a lot of games and has been in terrific form. Uh, I think it's safe to say so far it's a decision that hasn't beaten India thanks to
Hmm.
your prolific top order performances and the imperial form that Kohli is in. But I think that's one decision that I want to watch out for. But good to know that you're not particularly unhappy with the inclusion of Surya over Aksar.
No, see, but I can tell you the decision can come to bite us back in another sense. If say two bowlers like say Shami and Siraj start get hit for runs, right? In a game, we don't have that really good fifth bowling option if Hardik is not there, right? And then we are in a spot of trouble because Hardik is not there. We are not playing Akshar. So who makes up for the overs? That is also a possible scenario which might happen. Uh, I am hopeful. I am hoping that it does not happen because the bowling lineup is very good, and I think the Indian strategic decision has been to take a risk there instead and trust the bowlers to do their job.
Okay, fair enough. I think that was pretty much what we wanted to touch on. So England's unexpected but well earned as well as earned demise, and Australia sort of this juggernaut of a run that we find ourselves in. So with that, I think there is not much to discuss in cricket except a quick look at some of the upcoming fixtures. So one is of course the Australia versus New Zealand one, and you have Netherlands versus Bangladesh coming in tomorrow. That's as good as a dead rubber. India versus England again. Uh, England not showing up in the
Where is
World Cup.
it?
Where
Where
is
is
it?
it happening?
I have no idea. I can check that out.
Do check that out because I think pitch will play an effect. Although I expect India to win, I think India have a better are in better form, have a better bowling and batting lineup than England, which is a
Right.
shocking thing to
So
say.
the
I
match is
wouldn't imagine saying this 6 months ago.
right. Mm. I'm just so the match is at Lucknow, and Google throws this win
Ah,
probability. I didn't know that was a thing ahead of the game, and India has a 66% chance of winning even before the toss is.
yeah,
That's insane. The Cool. Then let's move on to football with that,
yeah.
because as you were saying, we have a lot of ground to cover in football, be it the leagues or the UCL fixtures, which are once again back. Can you take a look at the league table? Yes, I think it's visible now.
Tottenham rank one again.
Again, we keep
Again.
waiting for the fall, but it's not around the corner.
Yeah. Oh, how long do you think we'll keep? So I remember this happening during the Leicester title winning season. Every week, me and my friends would sit down and go
Oh
like,
yes, yes, yeah,
ah, definitely Leicester are going down now, right?
yeah,
They're not maintaining the rank one spot, and they just kept holding on. They kept
yeah,
holding on. Other teams kept
absolutely.
failing by the wayside, and a miracle happened. So Tottenham winning, I would say, would be a miracle of that level, at least,
Yeah,
if
that
Tottenham
that's a
actually
good
win
call
the
out,
league.
man. I remember that season. I don't think up until like game week 26 or 27, people didn't take Leicester seriously. They were just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
waiting for the inevitable pullback and, the place where they belong. Well, I guess they sort of corrected, overcompensated for that league win right now by
By getting
simply walking out
relegated.
of the league. Uh, So yeah, Tottenham winning and Man City. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a comeback win
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
against
won.
Brighton.
No, I think they won. They scored two. Brighton scored one.
Ah,
In
okay.
I think it was Ansu Fati who scored, if I'm
Hmm.
not wrong.
Yes,
But
yes. Good for
yeah,
us.
but yeah, that's actually good because Ansu also scored in the Europa League game against Ajax.
Hmm.
Really nice goal as well.
Yeah,
So Ansu is picking up form. It's good news for Brighton. It's good news for Barca.
absolutely.
His finishing coming back. This is the standout fixture, though Chelsea versus
Yeah.
Arsenal. What did you? I will ask you this question, Chris. What did you think the result was going to be before the match began?
I think this is something we touched on last episode,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So, VS was there, who is of course our resident Chelsea fan, and we talked
yeah.
about how this we are at that inflection point where Arsenal are at their best and Chelsea are pretty much at their worst. I
Hmm.
don't remember us doing a predictions. Did we do one for this fixture?
I think no. I think VS predicted Arsenal to win, if I'm not wrong, because Arsenal were in good form. So I saw this match, and for 60 minutes, 65th minute almost, Chelsea were dominating, and it was a bit shocking, really. Like I didn't expect Chelsea to do as well as they did. Then they suddenly capitulated. Like there is no explanation to what happened between minute 75th to minute 90,
Yeah.
because they one goalkeeping mistake by Robert
Yeah,
Sanchez, where he gave the ball over. Excellent finish from Declan
Declan.
Rice, by the way. Like, beautiful finish. Outside the box, did
Reminds me
not
of
wait to kick it.
Busquets, the infamous
Reminds me,
tweet this Arsenal fan had, right? May
yeah.
if I'm being honest, I would take Declan Rice over Prime Busquets, and
It
because
actually,
it's a situation where you would want to have Rice more than Busquets for his
yeah.
goal scoring prowess.
It actually reminded me of a very similar goal which Scott McTominay scored, believe it or not, against Manchester City a few years back, where the goal Ederson had cleared the ball long and come outside of his area.
Right.
So McTominay just did not wait and chipped him. Declan Rice did more or less the same. He chipped the keeper. Excellent, excellent goal. And then we were having in our group chat, we were having actually bets as to who will score the equalizer. And believe it or not, like all of us were going for Trossard to score the
Right.
equalizer. Trossard did score the equalizer. I was actually thinking that Nketiah might just come in and score the winner.
Yeah,
He did get close. He went close
that would have
because
been a dagger in the heart of VS and other Chelsea
yes,
fans.
yes, yes,
But
definitely.
David, this
Because
poses
Chelsea.
an interesting question, right? So
Hmm,
there are two ways to look at it. One, the obvious narrative that the Arsenal fans particularly focus on is the mentality of the champions, the steel and resilience that you would expect from a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich or even a Man
hmm,
City. When you go down by goal or even two, it doesn't matter. You still have the steel to, and the
come
fortitude
back.
to pull yourself back and come back. Um, Thoughts on that narrative? I'll reserve
Uh,
the second one for right after.
mm, are you asking me if Arsenal have that mentality of coming back
Yeah,
and
so my
yeah?
question is, do you think last fixtures showing was another feather in the Arteta cap in the whole narrative that
I
you
wouldn't.
champion side?
See. I will say this: key draws like that do help the team. Like the one which they got when the team holds on to narrow margins or holds on to
Yeah,
1-0. You see the same effect happening actually in Barca across last season, where players, even when they're having a bad day, they know how to win. They know how to go and get a positive result. Like the entire team is playing shit. The midfield isn't working. Attack isn't
yeah,
working. Somehow Barca gets a goal, and then they put everyone behind the ball and hold on to the. They put bodies on the line and hold on to the win. That's how Barca won the league essentially last season. So a draw like
mm,
this actually helps solidifying whether they have it or not does not matter. I think that draws like these or wins like this when they just hold on to the victory or come back and get a draw helps that mentality, creates
right.
that winning mentality and positive spirit in the team.
And also that one point makes a huge difference than what to do in any
Yes,
other
yes.
league. So the other narrative is, well, if you're so good, you're facing the worst Chelsea side of a decade easily.
Yeah.
Going 2-0 down before halftime, is that even the champions' mentality to begin in the first place? You have enough firepower and players in form for you to run away with the game, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having to claw yourself for a single point.
Yeah. So this is where I will say that Arsenal, just on the basis of their performance till 70th minute, I think that Arsenal are not winning the league. I'm pretty sure their fans are going to be very disappointed with what I'm saying. But I don't think City would have struggled for 70 minutes. Even if City would have struggled initially, but then they would have struggled for the first 45 and they would have gotten their
Right.
yeah,
40th
together in
minute,
the
you'll
next
have a De
45.
Bruyne or a
Yeah,
Rodri
yeah, yeah.
from long range.
Yeah. So I don't think that just because of that reason, I don't think Arsenal are winning the league because if they're struggling till 70th minute against this Chelsea side, better sides are going to give them a
Right.
bigger challenge and might not allow them to come back and draw the game after 70th minute and won't make the mistakes which Chelsea did after 17th minute in
Yeah.
this match.
Mm. Yeah, Arsenal's definitely at least one or two world class players away from realistically competing for the title. I
Yeah.
hope the fans are aware of this. If we had enough following, we were gonna get bashed for this. Now I think we can say anything and get away with it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, pretty
I
much.
don't think either of Spurs or Arsenal will stay where they are come the end of the season.
No, I
Because
think Arsenal will make the top four.
yeah,
I
top
think
four
that they're,
easily.
yeah, top
But
four they will
yeah,
make.
let's just quickly
But
look at.
yeah, but I don't think they're winning the league. I don't think the Tottenham are winning the league as well. See, I will not discount Manchester City till I see them in the third place in March.
Yeah,
Okay, because they always do this. They always
December.
remain second till December. In December, Kevin De Bruyne comes back, then he wins them the league. That has been happening for the past two seasons.
I don't know
He's
how
going to
long.
come back this December as well. It's not like
Yeah,
his
this is like
return date is
Neymar going to
December.
Brazil around
Yeah,
the birthday season every year, right?
yeah.
Uh,
So December, Kevin De Bruyne comes back.
yeah,
Haaland will pick up his form, start scoring bunch of goals, and they will win the league.
So I think that was pretty much it about Premier League, right? Which takes us to La Liga. We have an El Clasico coming up. We'll probably do one more episode tonight. See you reactions right after the game, and
Yeah.
the state of the episode is totally gonna be determined by that fixture. But what the fixture means to us is we get to leapfrog Real Madrid in the table if
Yes.
that actually happens, which is always nice.
Yes, going on the no, going top of the table with a Clasico win would be a very special feeling. I would say it would give the players a lot of confidence to carry on. But it's going to be a difficult match. Barca has a lot of missing players.
Yeah,
Although you don't feel midfield is missing Pedri because Fermin Lopez has come out of nowhere and
yeah,
started balling out. You have it's a lot of youngsters, but I think Real has a better chance in this game simply because they have more fit first 11 players, first team
right.
11 players. A lot of the players in Barca squad will be playing their first El Clasicos, and a lot of them are teenagers. So
Yeah,
I am not exactly hopeful there, but it's at home, so let's see.
I think
Uh,
I would take a draw at this point, despite us being below Real Madrid, given the squad.
Yeah, yeah. I would take that as well, simply because you don't have Pedri, you don't have Kunde, you don't have Frankie De Jong in the
Yeah,
squad. So it's
yeah.
difficult to win against this Real side.
That brings us to Real's previous match, which is also our pick for the standout fixture in La Liga. I'm pretty sure you would have caught this game. Do you want to set some context on what went down here?
Very intense game this was. I didn't see the full game. I saw the extended highlights, but I did catch both the goals. First
Hmm.
of all, Carvajal scoring is a shocker. That is there. But
Carvajal playing in
Sevilla,
2023 is a bigger shocker, Dave.
yeah. Can you go back and we can see the league position of Sevilla
Yeah,
once? So Sevilla before this game where are
I think
Sevilla?
it was 17 or
13th.
18, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
they were 17th or 18th
Hmm.
before this game. So what they did was essentially when they scored the goal and the equalizer was scored, they put everyone behind the ball and started defending with their lives. And they put the perfect man on the job. They put Sergio Ramos in the heart of their defense. The guy had a goal line clearance. Okay, he fought with his former teammates. He pulled Rudiger's cheek. He legit elbowed a couple of players inside the box and got away with it.
Classic
That was
Ramos. It's not so
Peak
fun when
Sergio
it's
Ramos.
done against you, is it Madrid?
Yeah. Peak Sergio Ramos performance.
Yeah, the Twitter meltdown was crazy. The aftermath of this game, Madrid fans calling Ramos disgraceful for the same performance that he put for more than a decade, which they
Yeah.
conveniently branded tasteful back when he was
See,
playing for them.
yeah, see, at this point, we have to just admit that Ramos is a very passionate individual.
Yeah,
He gives it his all, whichever team he is representing. So, also, after leaving Real, he has been an extremely nice individual. I would say he admitted Messi is the greatest of all time. He played with Messi for 2 seasons. I remember he scored for Barca against Sevilla while playing for Sevilla. Own
and
goal
then
by Sergio Ramos.
and then goes on to put one of the best defensive performances for Sevilla against Madrid.
And he hugged Gavi and called him like star boy or something. So, yeah, Ramos,
This Ramos
I
arc
have
is
warmed
something
up to
none of
the
us want
Ramos.
to be.
It's an unexpected redemption arc, man.
And we are
But
here for
Sevilla, but that draw does very important thing in the top of the table, I would say, because this is the first time Real Madrid has faltered in the league. Otherwise, they were winning due to
what do you
one
mean?
Jude
They have a
Bellingham goal.
loss. Like Barca is still the only unbeaten team in the league.
Yeah,
Even
they do have a loss. They drew, so this one allows Barca to leapfrog today in case they win.
oh yeah, so if Madrid had won as expected, us
Yeah,
winning the Clasico would have been less significant.
yes. Now
Okay,
we'll open up a 2 point gap if Barca
right.
win.
Nice. So I think that's pretty much it for La Liga. El Clasico, India Standard Time. I think it's at 7:45 p.m. there.
7:30. 7:30. I think the pre-match starts at 7:30. 7:45 the game
Perfect.
starts.
And we are gonna come back hopefully with some of our friends on Twitter. We are just trying to pull in substitutes now that VS is out for the day. Um, we'll come back and do a CU reactions later in the evening. Hopefully, a very pleasant one,
Yes.
despite the
Yes.
circumstances.
Touch wood.
I think VS is sort of our in-house Bundesliga um,
Yeah. The guy
tracker.
studied German. It
Yeah,
makes sense.
fair enough.
But
With him, yeah,
yeah, you
I
look at
think
the league table, it
he
is a
is
bit of a
stable
shock,
and
right?
a standard fixture. Yeah, I think this is
Even the
what.
league,
Mm.
yeah, even the league table is a bit shocking with Leverkusen leading the table, Bayern being third, Stuttgart being
Spurs,
second.
Girona, Leverkusen, all three. It's what is Polar Bear
Dude,
doing in Arlington?
dude, Stuttgart. What is Stuttgart doing in there?
Yeah, we have all been focusing on Leverkusen's unexpected resurgence. That we
Yeah,
forgot that there was a team between them and Bayern and Dortmund in Stuttgart. Um,
yeah.
do we even know who is leading the charge for Stuttgart? Is it defensive
No, I have,
masterclass?
I have, I have no clue. We need to do some research about Stuttgart now. They have caught my attention.
And look at it, five straight wins. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
in
yeah.
the top five leagues has it at this point.
Nope. Even
Oh wait,
Leverkusen have a draw in the last 5 games.
Dortmund has. Damn, that's
Yeah.
something. Uh,
Dortmund has been playing well, actually. We'll come back to this point when we are discussing the UCL games.
yeah, I think at this point we should just do one special on Bundesliga, particularly Leverkusen. Man.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway from this.
Yes.
This is just one of the standout fixtures
Yeah.
where
It's nice to see two fullbacks scoring, by the way. Frimpong and
Frimpong was
Frimpong and
also linked with
Grimaldo.
Barca, if I'm not mistaken. So that's
And
always.
Grimaldo is ex La Masia.
Oh
So
yeah, nice.
Interesting to see that. Grimaldo was a very smart signing, by the way, for Leverkusen. They
Yeah,
got him for free from Benfica. He was one of the best players for Benfica during his
yeah.
stay.
I was
They got him
surprised
for
that there wasn't a bidding war for him given the shortage of
yeah,
free
yeah,
packs.
yeah. Yeah, it was a bit shocking that they let him go that easily as well, Benfica. So Leverkusen are doing well, and it's nice to see. We'll probably cover them more in detail and cover the rise of Xabi Alonso as a manager
Yeah.
in a special episode.
So this is how the Serie A table looks. I honestly don't have. I don't think either of us follow Serie A in detail to actually offer commentary on the table or anything. Inter
Yeah,
looks like they are 1 point above Milan, and Juve are right up there. Napoli is still little sluggish yet to catch up with the rest of them. And I think the highlight was Milan and Juve going head to head.
yeah.
Juve actually coming out on top, but I guess with a red card at 40,
Yes.
not
Also,
interesting.
yeah. Also, Milan haven't been very good this season in general. In the league in UCL. We'll come back to that point
Yeah, in the UCL,
soon.
but I think they were doing just fine in the league up until the UA game.
Yeah.
So some of the upcoming fixtures in the league: Barca versus Real Madrid. We have harped on it a few more times already. The Manchester Derby tomorrow night.
Yes.
Predictions.
This this will be interesting. City win. City win. It's I will never bet against City when it is against United,
Yeah, I mean the only
especially
question
this
was by
United.
how many goals.
Yeah. Should we do score predictions? So what will you go for, Chris?
I'm gonna go with a 4-1 for City, man.
Hmm. I'll take one more for City. I will go 5-1 for City. I think City are doing a manita.
Uh,
If people do not know what manita is, it's this five when players score 5 goals, they show this. This is a manita in
yeah,
Spanish football.
all right. Popularized by the legend Gerard Piqué.
Yeah, after the 5-0 victory at Camp Nou against Mourinho's Madrid.
Yeah. Um, UCL was back. Group A, Group B. Personally, I don't care. I don't even like any of the 8 teams there. I just
No,
watch.
two things. I have two things to call out here. First of all, United are not in a great place in that table. Galatasaray are doing better than them. Secondly, Sevilla being third is very typical of them, isn't it? They're going to go. There's this clip of Thierry Henry saying that I can see what they're doing. They're cooking. We can see Sevilla cooking as well.
Sevilla be like it. They'll be just do enough to be third. Nah, I'm not gonna do
Yeah,
so
yeah,
great that I'll end up one or two, or so bad that I'm gonna get out. I'll just say be seated in my comfortable third place, and I will see you in December, just like Manchester City.
they
Once.
will go into Europa, and once Sevilla is in Europa, they are winning the Europa. Okay, there's they have a deal of destiny with that
Yeah.
particular trophy.
Group C and Group D. Again, Adam,
Brit-
this both the groups were more or less straightforward.
Yeah, yeah. I expected more of a fight from say Salzburg, Benfica, and Sociedad. The three teams there, I expected more of a fight between those three. But Benfica have apparently done really bad, and
Mm,
Salzburg aren't doing great either. So makes
right.
sense that Sociedad are at top. I think Inter will take the top spot eventually. Sociedad will finish second, but
Mm.
let's see, let's see.
Ah, ENF had some interesting results
Yeah.
this time. So GNH, I'm gonna quickly jump to the fixtures so we can talk about Group E.
Yeah. So Group E is the group of death. You have these four excellent teams: PSG, Milan, Newcastle, Dortmund. And those were the standout fixtures, two of the standout fixtures we selected to focus for this week, simply because it has ramifications about the positioning of the group. Uh, Newcastle defeated PSG last time they met at St James Park, and everyone sort of expected Newcastle to win again against Dortmund, but especially because they were playing at home. But Newcastle were surprisingly bad. They did not attack well. They missed a few chances. Dortmund, on the other hand, were fantastic. Like the 1-0 actually gives Newcastle a little bit more credit than they actually deserve. Dortmund could have scored three very easily. They kept missing chances again and again. It's a very Dortmund thing to do as well, but bit of a shocker there to see Newcastle lose, especially because at home every game this season they have scored on an average 4 goals, 3 goals, things like that. Losing to Dortmund wasn't in the script. I think the loss of Alexander Isak early in the first half also affected them. Isak is their talismanic striker. Callum Wilson is good, but he is not as good as Isak. So Isak leaving and possibly out for a long time affects Newcastle deeply. So they lost. Interestingly, Milan also lost against PSG, and they didn't just lose; they got drubbed by PSG with Kolomuani and Mbappe scoring, and Kangin Lee scoring, which is a nice thing to see as well. Uh, Milan need to get their act together, otherwise they won't. I don't think they will make it out of the group, not even into Europa, if their current trajectory in UCL keeps going. The third match which I chose for this segment was Celtic Atletico, because this result puts, if I'm not wrong, Feyenoord at top of that
Oh wow!
table.
Wait,
Yeah.
that
Can you
out.
go back and see?
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
see, Feyenoord goes top of the table, which is shocker, isn't it? Good for Celtic as well. Although I think they should have won the game, they were 2-0 up at halftime. They should not have gone on at home as well. They should not have gone on to lose the game. But Atletico do Atletico things. Griezmann scores one, and they are back in the game. So good result for Celtic. Not that great for Atletico, but I think they are going to escape this group, go on to the knockout stages at least.
I think they
Uh,
still likely end up first.
yeah. There will be a straight fixture between Atletico and Feyenoord, and that should decide the fate of the
Hmm.
group as to who is taking the first spot.
Manchester City, 3 out of 3, no
Yeah,
surprises there.
yeah.
Leipzig, the second favorites, and Barcelona winning. Well, we are both Barca fans, so we have to touch on this. I think this is the first time in several years that we have won 3 UCL games on the trot in the group stages.
Yeah. I
Still
think
not.
Barca have.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Continue, man.
yeah, I still don't think we have the same problem as Arsenal. Just too much of raw talent, younglings with
Yeah,
not enough experience to actually go really deep in the tournament.
yeah.
But it's nice for a
Con-
change to get 3 out of 3
yeah.
at
Yeah,
this
it's
stage.
also nice that considering the number of injuries Barca have, to
Yeah.
get 3 wins out of three in the first 3 games of UCL is a big
Mm.
deal, I would say. And uh, I hope Fermin Lopez wins the goal of the week for this
Oh
week's
yeah,
UCL because he bloody deserves it. My
yeah,
God, what a strike that was! But
yeah.
if
He
Fermin Lopez develops the way he develops, I think Barca will get a very good goal scoring midfielder.
yeah he could be our you know Bellingham counterpart. We
Yes.
continue to keep spawning talents like picking up
Uh,
Pokemon. That's
La
crazy.
Masia is a bloody cheat code, man. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. Just. Grateful for that. Yeah, wow, that ends our football segment. And last week in pro wrestling, we gotta figure out a way to start watching SmackDown before we do these episodes. I think World Cup is really getting in the way of that. You
Yeah,
can't really blame us today for holding off on SmackDown and watching the Australian carnage.
yeah,
But unfortunately, the collateral damage of that is we won't get to talk about SmackDown and the headlining whole LA Knights and Roman Reigns contract signing. I heard that was a killer segment.
yeah. I
And
I saw he apparently said something about suffering sabotage. He made a comment about that. So it's like LA Knight made a comment about that to Roman Reigns. So I think that's going to be a
okay.
very shoot
Hmm.
based promo battle between the
Oh,
two, I would say. So it's
right.
going to be fun to watch that.
Right. That said, there is something that that's not, you know, signed it to borrow a term from WWE, but we are pretty close to getting the biggest LA Knight fan page on Twitter on our show. Still, fingers crossed. Yeah, Revolution. They're one of my favorite accounts. They've been tracking LA Knight's progress long before he became a phenom. And there are not, I can't think of anybody better to actually
Yeah.
talk about LA Knight than them. That's an episode that I really hope it materializes. I hope I haven't jinxed it. So once Gandalf is back, let's do a special on the rise of LA Knight.
Yeah.
See you
Yeah,
special.
because I think LA Knight is one of the best examples of a babyface just appearing and then get a going
Yeah.
superstar.
Mm,
So it's good to have someone who has followed his career throughout,
yeah.
so that we can discuss what exactly led him to be in the spot he is right now.
Mhm.
Give
I know,
us
right?
more
There is no
historical
shame in
context.
admitting that we, be it you or me or 95% of the fans, we would have jumped in on the LA Knight train uh, a little late after the
Yeah,
train was pretty much already on full throttle. But for somebody to follow him from long back, um, like betting on his potential, it'll be really
yeah.
nice. I'm looking forward to that chat.
Yep, should be interesting. Uh, Another thing that was interesting was the Raw of
Yeah.
this week. Cody Rhodes gets injured. We will. I think he's making that his MO sort of gets injured,
Yeah,
gets
I
jumped.
actually want to do this one correlation chart between, pharmacies and companies that make these cars, and every time Cody gets into a brawl, right? It's crazy, man.
Their stonks go up.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think I don't even know. I don't even remember how we got here, man. So this was
I think,
Judgment Day beginning the show as used.
huh,
And
Judgment
Cody
Day.
interrupts them for a change and
Hmm.
talks smack, gets smacked.
Yeah,
So,
so
so
these are the moments you think that the baby face is a bit of an idiot, right? Like, why are you coming right in front of judge
yeah,
full strength Judgment Day
yeah, and
and
I
getting
okay
beaten up?
personally slightly controversial opinion that was possibly one of the worst chair shots that I've seen. So I don't think Damien Priest like nailed that. Like so I think he put one chair on top of Cody's leg near the steel steps, but he goes on to hit in the other corner. Well, for obvious
Yeah,
reasons. If he had actually hit him on the leg, that would have been a devastating injury and not a kayfabe. But how
there
Cody
is. Yeah. Also, there is another call out, I would say, in this particular segment, especially. because if you remember, Jey Uso came out to defend his tag partner. He came
Hmm.
out, he was brawling with Finn Balor, then he did not enter the ring, he disappeared.
Yeah,
And
that
we
was
never really
weird.
saw where he went.
That camera angle baffled me as well, because you'd usually get a shot of Jay
Yeah,
brawling Finn Balor and Dirty Dom the other side of
yeah.
the. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
or going into the crowd. That's why Cody
Yeah,
did not receive the help when JD attacked.
yeah,
Whatever. But we never really got an explanation what happened to J. J came, comes out, brawls with
yeah. I
Finn,
know
then
people
disappears.
who are not pro wrestling fans. They'll be like, "Who are these idiots paying this much attention to something that trivial, right?" But it's the little moments like this that have stand
Yeah,
out in the Triple H era. But this segment was a particular letdown in that aspect. Still a great
yeah,
segment.
yeah,
Like you had Cody run in with the cast already by the end of the night. That was
yeah.
hilarious. We watched that together. So that was the opening segment. This one. So I'm loving everything that's going on with Mommy here. So the character
Hmm.
work that WWE has managed here has been nothing short of fascinating. So you can see her cutting deal with Drew McIntyre one week, with Seth Rollins another week. Um, I I think the way they have position themselves going into the show at Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel. It's rife with possibilities, right? You
Hmm.
really don't know what's gonna happen. My theory is this: so Rhea is in some way like she is gonna make Drew believe that she is with Rollins or Rollins' side, and vice versa. In the end, only for Damian Priest to come in and cash in on the money
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the briefcase. Otherwise,
yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me.
I think that I have a slightly different version here. I think that whatever you said will happen in the sense that since she is cutting deals with both, I think there's going to be a run in. But I think that a priest won't be able to cash in just yet. I think some shenanigans will follow.
Yeah, exactly. I
Uh,
think there will be an attempt at cash in, but not an actual
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. Actual cash, because I think they will keep the actual cash in for a bigger crowd, maybe in a Royal Rumble or something like that. Not Saudi, not a Saudi show. So
But it's Crown
actual
Jewel.
cash in might
You
happen
never
later.
know. That's where Goldberg beat the Fiend.
True.
Um,
I'm hoping that does not happen again because Triple H is there, the booker.
yeah. It's ridiculous how I think this is the second standout segment, and I think Rhea Ripley appeared three times throughout the show. So that kind of face time you only seen for the likes of Roman Reigns or a John Cena. Um, that a star comes in at the beginning of the show, the end of the show, and then the middle, right? This
Yeah,
goes on to show how much WWE values Rhea Ripley and how much the crowd really looks forward to her presence. That you can throw her multiple times on the screen and we are gonna be excited every single time.
she that woman has a screen presence, man. Like
Yeah,
she comes into the screen and you want to listen to her. She wasn't that this woman does weird things. Okay, she is on her own subreddit, commenting on her own photos.
yes,
So a
subreddit.
certain section of yeah, so a certain section of internet wrestling fans really love her for that, for
Yeah,
her online activity.
she keeps it
Uh,
real. Like
yeah,
she
yeah,
really
yeah.
knows how to swing the audience. She knows what the crowd wants, and some of the innuendos that she says, she knows that will invoke a reaction.
And
This
it's
segment was uh, this was brilliant. Like it's four women. Like it's not just any four women,
yeah.
right? They're all like built up as these, really strong characters.
Hmm.
Somebody that you could throw a mid card male superstar and you would back these women to go and win
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bronze.
yeah,
Be it
yeah.
Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, or Nia Jax, she actually has done that in the past. I'm blanking on who the other one, Shayna Baszler.
Zoe, Shayna Baszler. So I won't say they're strong in terms of characters, individual characters. It's more like they're promising us a car crash at Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
Basically, they're saying, ki, okay, we have five Amazonians in the ring. We are going to give you a car crash,
yes,
because if I remember, they did something similar a few years ago. The pay-per-view's name was Great Balls of Fire. So if you remember,
I have no
Great,
recollection of this.
yeah. So the pay-per-view's name was Great Balls of Fire, and it was a similar sort of situation with who with the champion being Brock Lesnar, and they put Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, and someone else, like five people, and they promised us a car crash, and they gave us a car crash. So
Right.
I'm hoping that sort of a game, where that sort of a match happens, where people get driven through tables, there's proper brawl and
Do you
stuff
have a
like that.
prediction for this one? Do you think Rhea walks out?
Rhea will retain. I don't think she's losing this title that
Right.
easily. The challenge will be, because they will burn through five challenges, and
Yeah.
one will have to take the pin. I am supposing it will likely be someone like Zoe Stark who takes the pin this match. But the next challenge will be what to do next, because you have burned through five challenges. Do you bring them back one by one again?
That's what Rhea
Or
says in the promo as well.
yeah,
Uh,
you need so I'm actually wondering what they will do uh, after this particular match.
um, oh, this was a fun segment because WWE, they were like, you know what, we are just gonna bring on two of the best slash worst heels in WWE of late, and we are gonna throw them in the ring, and we'll see what the heat we get is. And this was a nice fun segment. So you had Logan Paul coming out and like calling out Samantha Irwin of all people, uh, who by the way has is a darling of the wrestling community these days. So again, like they knew how to keep the audience engaged. And once Logan did that, you expected Ricochet to come out. The context being um Samantha being Ricochet's fiance, and Samantha is the ring announcer for anybody who's not aware. Um,
Uh, the
yeah,
fact that they made one thing I'll add, the fact that they made Dirty Dom and Logan Paul stand together in the same ring and tease a possible tag team, that is probably going to be the most hated tag team in the planet if they actually form that.
yeah.
But yeah,
And
we can
BS,
move on.
who does not follow football, actually asked, "Do you think Logan Paul will fight Dominic Mysterio?" I think he asked that in the last week's episode. We might actually see a reverse with them tagging up against
Yeah,
the LWO at some point.
yeah,
That
yeah.
brings us to the
And
main
I,
event. Um,
yeah.
Again, like more than the match itself, the highlight was Cody walking out in a cast already for an attack that happened 1 hour ago.
God.
We just wanted to touch on how good a baby face and
Yeah.
how seriously he takes that act.
I don't think in the last 10 years WWE has come up with a better babyface than Cody. Cody is a guy who gets universally cheered wherever he goes. And he's the most white meat babyface, I would say. Like, he stands up for what is right.
Right.
He forgets his pain and goes to battle, sometimes stupidly. All those things are they're very typical babyface, and somehow even John Cena was getting booed at one point
Both
of
by
time
the
because
young
of
adult
doing this
crowd,
thing.
right?
Yeah,
So I think this is
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
his time at AEW really forged him as a credible candidate for all kinds of demographics, right? Obviously, kids love
Hmm.
him, women love him, but the hardest to crack demographic in WWE has always been that 18 to 35 white
Yeah,
male, right?
yeah.
And he put on bangers after bangers when he was at AEW. At one point, he caught himself on fire for a table spot, right? So
Yeah,
he has the respect of that hardcore old school WWE male fans, especially. So he's just as over as anybody that you can
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can
I
think of.
think recently I read a report that in a house show his merch sold more than WWE's typical, like only WWE merch. His merch outsold that. So
Huh,
he just goes to show how popular he is at the
right.
moment. It will be a shame that if he does not win a championship soon, I hope he
Yeah,
does. But at this point, he is getting cheered so much that he does not exactly need a championship either
exactly. Yeah.
till at least
WWE
WrestleMania.
has one of the best headaches a promotion could have. Too many baby
Yeah.
faces and led by a
Mm.
definite future Hall of Famer in Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, definitely.
I think we are also on the hour mark and covered everything we wanted to. This was a fun week for a sportsman. We'll connect again for CU reactions right after El Clasico tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye bye.
See ya.